From WEEK, your home team. This is 25 News Today.
Oh, was there a game last night?
Oh man, Nick and I
Something
stayed
going on?
up and watched the game last night.
And
It
then-
went into extra innings.
Ooh.
And then we
And
just
then I didn't sleep afterwards.
got about a teaspoon of sleep.
I went to bed when it was 5-1 thinking, oh, this thing's out.
No.
Let's get some rest now.
Yeah. Cubs win the World Series. Big news all over the world.
That's right. There was a weather delay, too, in the game, a short one, which Nick kind of thinks is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of crazy weather, though, we had some of it
We
here
did.
yesterday.
Yeah, we did. No, we had a severe thunderstorm move through yesterday afternoon, and now we're dealing with some foggy conditions early on this morning. So visibility is right around 3 miles here in Peoria, 1 in Bloomington Normal. So make sure to travel safely early on this morning. And then as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at sunny skies today.
And yes, of course, our top story is the curse finally broken. For the first time in 108 years, the Chicago Cubs have won the World Series. That's right, flying the W. The Cubs got in on the board early. Outfielder Dexter Fowler hitting the first ever leadoff home run in a Game 7. It was 1-1 in the third when Wilson Contreras lined one to right center, scoring the MVP, Ben Zobrist. That's right, Zobrist winning the MVP. Anthony Rizzo got on the board in the fifth, scoring Chris Bryant, making it 5-1. And that's when Gina went to bed, thinking that the Cubs had this, right?
Right?
However, the Cubs blew a 4-run lead, including giving up 3 in the 8th inning here. Rajai Davis smokes a 2-run home run to left field, tying it at 6. The game would go into extras. There was a rain delay for 17 minutes. And once the delay ended, Eureka's own Ben Zobrist slaps one down the left field line.
Clutch!
And that proved to be all they needed. Miguel Montero added an insurance run. Here's the final out.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series! Bryant makes the play! It's over! And the Cubs have finally won it all! 8-7-10.
Back from down 3-1. So Tom, Theo, Crane, Jed, and Joe, congratulations. Right, so there's a piece of hardware for you.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to take everybody in a ride in that thing for sure. That's unbelievable.
I have a feeling, Ben, if you drive that thing around Chicago, you'll never have to buy another meal the rest of your life.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
Go enjoy it with your team.
Maybe Ben will take Garry for a ride when he's in town next month. Hey, an area factory has been busy all night long making Cubs championship gear. This is a live look at Minerva's in Bloomington. They have been busy, Garry, all night long, preparing thousands of T-shirts that will be sold throughout the country. This contract with Major League Baseball and the Cubs. How cool is it that we've got a local company in on the action here and just hard at work, and they'll have time to celebrate later, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's great
And
for them.
we'll talk to the company president
Tony?
coming up. Yes, Tony, a little bit later in our newscast.
Cool. Hey, you know, last night's game created a huge spike in business for bars and restaurants. The average price for, you know, a ticket was around $1,800, but bars around Wrigley Field were charging hundreds of dollars in cover charges. And some local bars right here in Peoria benefiting. Peoria bars got a chance to stay open later than normal.
We definitely see a trickle down from, you know, when a local sports team, you know, in this case the Cubs are in it, the businesses see a lot of, you know, extra activity that they wouldn't this time of year.
We've always had the label the lovable losers. And to me, they've never been losers, because if they were, you wouldn't be a fan.
Well, Cubs fans have been out since just before midnight trying to get their hands on anything World Series championship related, like Garry. He was here with the folks at Dick's Sporting Goods in Peoria overnight. Fans there were still in shock.
Oh my God, lifelong Cubs fan, super excited to be here. Got to share it with my friends and my family. It was an awesome experience and couldn't be happier. We're so excited the Cubs won the World Series.
How exciting is this? This is so exciting, so exciting. that I just, had to come right here and wait in line for hours to get my Cubs gear. Go Cubs, go!
Speaking of waiting, we still have to wait to find out when the Cubs will hold a victory parade. No doubt Garry will be there when they hold it.
Well, I don't know. They hold it during the week next week.
Maybe not.
We'll see.
Other news this morning, our Decision 2016 coverage. NBC's latest battleground map is showing a narrower path to victory for Hillary Clinton as both candidates hit the same battleground state today.
NBC's Tracy Potts has the latest from Washington.
We've got to be nice and cool, nice and cool. Right, stay on point, Donald, stay on point. No sidetracks, Donald, nice and easy, nice.
Donald Trump staying on message overnight in Florida, taking a page from Bernie Sanders' playbook, telling supporters he raised $100 million in small donations last month.
That sounds more like a Democrat thing, not a Republican thing, right?
Today, Trump and Hillary Clinton both campaign in North Carolina, where African-American turnout is down from 2012. Not good news for Clinton as she awaits results of the FBI's email investigation. She's also hoping to win Arizona, a red state.
We have a real chance to turn this state blue again.
Her latest message, imagining a Trump presidency.
Imagine having a president who demeans women, mocks the disabled, insults Latinos, African Americans, Muslims, POWs, who pits people against each other instead of pulling us together.
Putting a wife to work is a very dangerous thing.
Both candidates are out with final TV ads.
Clinton won't change Washington. She's been there 30 years.
Now, just 5 days from America's final choice.
And for the first time in this campaign, Hillary Clinton is seeing Trump-sized crowds, 15,000 in Arizona last night. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
It's about 9 minutes past the hour. Still ahead on 25 News Today. Find out how busy roads around the country will be for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. You know, Thanksgiving is just a few weeks away.
It is. And Nick will have your first alert forecast as we take a live look outside right now at our roads in downtown Peoria. Interstate 74 traffic still moderate at this hour. We'll have some delays later on today, though. More on that coming up.
You're watching 25 News Today with Garry Moore, Gina Morss, and meteorologist Nick Jansen. 25 News is your home team.
Well, good morning and welcome back. So the good news is with today's forecast anyways, there's no chance for rain showers this afternoon. So that's the good news. Won't be looking at severe thunderstorms today, but we're looking at some foggy conditions early on this morning. Let's take a look outside right now on our Skywatch camera network. We're looking downtown Peoria. Nope, we're going to take a look at the temperature. Back to the Skywatch camera. So we are looking at those foggy conditions downtown Peoria right now. Temperatures are comfortable this morning, at least starting off in the middle to upper 50s and the lower 60s. 57 in both Bloomington normally and here in Peoria. 63 in Lincoln, still in the 60s in Macomb and in Canton. Now those foggy conditions still dealing with visibility issues outside, right around 3 miles for visibility in both Lincoln and Peoria, right around 2 miles for visibility in Bloomington normal and in many other places across central Illinois. So dealing with those foggy conditions early on this morning, make sure to travel safely today, especially if you're using any rural roads this morning. Make sure to travel to at least safely to work this morning. Satellite radar shows those cloudy and foggy conditions. The good news is we will see sunny skies later this afternoon with nice temperatures. So a lot different than yesterday. So we're taking a look at the rainfall the last 24 hours with radar estimations for accumulations anyways. And right here where this arrow is pointing right along I-74 in between Peoria and Elmwood, radar estimations all the way up to 4.5 inches of rain yesterday. So very heavy rainfall, strong winds, and large hail we saw yesterday afternoon. I know the rumbles of thunder, some of the loudest thunder rumbles I've heard in my entire life. And let's take a couple look at some viewer photos. This comes in from Jenny. We can see that shelf cloud starting to move over the Illinois River yesterday afternoon. So very strong winds associated with this, and then hail as well. You can see the hail across the road here, almost looking like snowfall. That comes in from Ashley. So very poor driving conditions, and then from Joe covering his deck there. So we saw hail anywhere from $1 to $half size yesterday. So very large hail, strong winds. The good news is no severe weather in store for many of us today anyways. We're looking at sunny skies heading into the afternoon, so that's the good news. Sunny skies finally replacing kind of that gloomy weather that we had yesterday with sunny skies today, and we'll see more sunny conditions for tomorrow afternoon as well. So we're going to see nice conditions to at least wrap up the week. Temperatures today a little bit, well, cooler than what we saw yesterday. 66 in Lincoln is what Futurecast suggesting by the evening hours, and we'll be staying in those middle 60s in Peoria. Temperatures tonight going to be dropping off finally down into the 40s, so back to where we normally are this time of year. So 64 degrees today. That's still actually above average, normally still sitting in the upper 50s, so we're still in the middle 60s, partly cloudy skies today. Tonight down to 44 degrees for that overnight low. Tomorrow 65 degrees, sunny, another nice fall day for many of us in central Illinois. This weekend, nice conditions as well, 67 on both days. And then remember to set your clocks back 1 hour. We will gain 1 hour of sleep Saturday night into Sunday morning, guys.
Yeah, and since somebody didn't get much sleep last night, that extra hour will be much needed by Sunday.
16 minutes past the hour when 25 News Today continues. Uber is making changes to its ride-hailing app.
And it's a pretty big change, too. And Nick has a look at traffic around the area coming up.
Welcome back to 25 News Today. It's about 20 minutes past the hour, and Uber has revamped its ride-hailing app in an effort to make it simpler, smarter, and more fun. It is the biggest overhaul to Uber's rider app in 4 years, and the biggest change could be the addition of upfront pricing and arrival time predictions pegged to each level of Uber service. The new app also seeks to mine personal information stored on smartphones in a change that could raise privacy concerns, but it is up to the individual users to let Uber peep into their calendars and address books. The new design and features just started rolling out yesterday, but it could take a couple of weeks before all users get the update. It is going to be an even busier Thanksgiving at the nation's airports as U.S. airlines are expecting more travelers to fly. The airline trade group Airlines for America estimates more than 27 million people will fly worldwide on domestic airlines from November 18th through the 29th. That is up 2.5% from last year. The busiest air travel day is expected to be the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Airlines are preparing by adding more seats through larger planes and additional flights.
Now for a look at traffic on the ground, let's head over to Nick.
Oh, good morning, guys. So traffic-wise this morning, we're looking at those foggy conditions, so make sure to travel safely. We're looking at visibility under 3 miles in many areas this morning. Also, the Murray-Baker Bridge and work inspections should be done this afternoon, so that's the good news. Looks like all lanes will be open today. Taking a look at your forecast in 64 degrees for that high temperature, and then the next 7 days looking at those comfortable conditions continuing heading into the weekend.
And still ahead on 25 News Today, next year is finally here.
This is it. We head out live to Bloomington where championship t-shirts are being made even as we speak. We'll be right back.
Good morning. The time now is 6:25. Temperatures starting off in the lower 60s to upper 50s. We'll be staying in those middle 60s for highs today, and then nice conditions heading into the weekend.
Time to see what's trending this morning on social media, and no surprise,
Cubs.
Cubs.
Hey, the big Chicago Cubs win from last night. The Cubs winning the World Series.
And Area Factory has been busy all night long making all that Cubs championship gear.
Hey, let's head out now live to Minerva's in Bloomington, where the head of the company, Tony Tadaro, joins us. Tony, how's it going this morning?
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so tell us about how you got this contract to do this.
We do a lot of large-scale print runs like this. The last largest one we did was for the Super Bowl back in 2007 with the Indianapolis Colts. With this hot market printing, we get called on from time to time to do orders of this size and magnitude. This one's very special because it's for the World Series champion Chicago Cubs.
And just how many of these t-shirts are you producing?
Our first initial run here tonight, we're wrapping up our run of about 6,000 shirts, and we're just about done with it.
Wow, 6,000 shirts. And where do they go? Where are these shirts being shipped to?
These shirts are going out to big box major retailers from as far north as Wisconsin all the way down to St. Louis area, and of course Iowa to Indiana.
When did you get started this morning?
How long does it take?
And how long does it take to do it?
Well, we've been doing this for about 24 years here. This print run, we initially set up for it on Friday with hopes that the Cubs would clinch by Sunday, and we came in Monday morning, had to take everything back down, go on to our daily work that we do, which, here we run about 3,000 to 6,000 shirts a day, but that's the entire day. And, I guess it would be yesterday, Wednesday, midday, we stopped everything we were doing, reset up for the Chicago Cubs, and did all of our strike tests and everything, and we're ready to go. And we sat back and watched the game, and our hopes waned a little bit when we had the extra innings and then the rain delay and everything else. So we did get started a lot later than we thought or had anticipated, but nonetheless, we're meeting our deadline of this morning, so I'm happy.
Well, Tony, we're happy for you and your whole team. Maybe they'll get the day off or bring in pizza or something for that overnight work effort that they've had, right?
Definitely. Definitely. These guys have put in everything, and I owe a big thanks to them. And for us, it's another milestone for our company, and we're very proud to be a part of something this important.
Well, congratulations.
Well, we thank you for sharing some time. I know you probably want to get back to work to make sure your order gets out.
Yeah.
All right, Tony Tadaro from...
We just got to wrap it up.
All right. Very good. Tony from Minerva, very good for his business.
That's right, in Bloomington. Congratulations.
All right. And when we come back, we're going to head out live to Chicago, where the Cubs are celebrating Series championship in 108 years. We're going to take you outside of Wrigley Field. That's a live look. Don't go away.
From WEEK, your home team. This is 25 News Today.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're wiping the sleepy out of our eyes.
You guys awake?
Game last night.
I went to bed when it was 5 to 1. I got a good night's sleep.
Good for
thinking
you, Gina.
It was all over.
The Cubs win the World Series, and we are delighted. Of course, we are going to talk more about that. We're flying the W, but the W, we were saying, could very easily stand for weather because the weather played a part in the game. They had a rain delay in Cleveland. And here in Central Illinois, we had some rough weather yesterday.
We had some very rough weather. Taking a look at some video from the thunderstorms yesterday.
That's right. Some parts of Central Illinois picking up more severe thunderstorms, dropping half-dollar-sized hail and heavy rain. This video from right outside our studio here in East Peoria. When the storm hit about 4 Wednesday afternoon, just like Nick predicted, large hail reported from Farmington through Bloomington Normal. Many of you also sent us pictures and video of hail outside your home, and that can be found on our 25 News Facebook page, also our website, cinewsnow.com.
We also saw some flooding in Central Illinois. This video shot yesterday afternoon at University in Teton in Peoria. Flooding also reported in Pekin. That water has since receded, thank goodness.
Yeah. So what about today? What can we expect, Nick?
Well, today we can expect temperatures starting off, in the middle to upper 50s, into the 60s in some areas, 57 degrees as of right now. Also foggy conditions early on this morning, so visibility is being affected by that as you're heading out for your morning commute. Make sure to travel safely with visibility down to around 3 miles here in Peoria. This afternoon and evening, though, good news, no severe weather today, very sunny conditions, more fall-like conditions than what we've seen at least this week with temperatures staying in the 60s.
And coming up, this Cardinals fan over here will be putting on a Cubs jersey because our top story today, the curse is finally broken.
For the first time in 108 years, the Chicago Cubs have won the World Series. The Cubs getting on the board early. Outfielder Dexter Fowler hit the first ever leadoff home run in a Game 7. It was 1-1 in the third when Wilson Contreras lined one to right center, scoring the eventual MVP, Ben Zobrist. That's right, Eureka's own Ben Zobrist winning the MVP award. We'll talk more about that. Anthony Rizzo getting the Cubs on the board in the fifth, scoring Chris Bryant, making it 5-1. And that's when Gina went to bed, thinking that this game was over. But the Cubs blew a 4-run lead, including giving up 3 runs in the 8th inning here. Rajay Davis smoking a 2-run home run to left field, tying it at 6 apiece. Then came the rain delay, and when the rain delay was over, Ben Zobrist, Eureka's own, slaps one down the left field line, opposite field, base hit, taking second on the throw, and that proved to be all they needed. Miguel Montero added the insurance run. Here's the final out.
Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Back from down 3-1. So Tom, Theo, Crane, Jed, and Joe, congratulations. Right, so there's a piece of hardware for you.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to take everybody in a ride in that thing for sure. That's unbelievable.
I have a feeling, Ben, if you drive that thing around Chicago, you'll never have to buy another meal the rest of your life.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
All right, many Cub fans glued to TVs and at this restaurant in Eureka before the first pitch was thrown. Ben Zobrist, of course, one of the stars on the team, raised in Eureka. Father still serves as pastor there. So much of the community feels as if they know Ben.
I worked with a guy named Mark Stelter who actually played in Olivet with him. And Mark played shortstop, I believe, and Ben played second. And so it's great to kind of hear stories about when Ben was in college, and now it's great to just see him on TV.
Have you been to the Chanticleer?
I have many years ago.
Many moons ago. People in Central Illinois say it has been an inspiration to see Ben Zobrist get this far in the World Series. And you remember he won with the Kansas City Royals last year.
Sure did.
He's got 2 World Series rings. They also say it's exciting to see Chillicothe native Zach McAllister playing for Cleveland, giving the series a Central Illinois vibe.
Definitely.
Last night's game creating a huge spike in business. We talked earlier to Minerva's in Bloomington. Many bars were able to stay open late, and the mayor says that's a good thing.
We definitely see a trickle down from, when a local sports team, in this case the Cubs are in it, the businesses see a lot of, extra activity that they wouldn't this time of year.
We've always had the label the lovable losers. And to me, they've never been losers, because if they were, you wouldn't be a fan.
Cubs fans have been out since just before midnight trying to get their hands on anything World Series championship related, and this was the scene at Dick's Sporting Goods in Peoria overnight. Our own Garry Moore was there too, and he, along with all these fans, were still in shock.
Oh my God, lifelong Cubs fan, super excited to be here. Got to share it with my friends and my family. It was an awesome experience and couldn't be happier. We're so excited the Cubs won the World Series.
How exciting is this?
This is so exciting, so exciting that I just, had to come right here and wait in line for hours to get my Cubs gear. Go Cubs, go!
Still waiting to find out when that Cubs victory parade will be, but I sure bet Garry will try to get there if he can. And as expected, Chicago has been celebrating that Cubs win all night long.
Oh man, this is a live look at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Still some people milling around who haven't gone to sleep since last night. Reporter Lauren Petty is in Chicago with the latest from the Windy City.
I'm Lauren Petty. We're here at Clark and Waveland. This is the north end of Wrigley Field, and take a look. You can see all of the police officers that are here. They've been lined up protecting people after the huge party that broke out when the Chicago Cubs won the World Series for the first time in 108 years. Even though the game was played in Cleveland, Cubs fans packed the streets of Wrigleyville, the bars too, and the crowd erupted when that final out sealed an 8-7 Cubs win over the Indians. This game was a nail-biter. The Cubs up for most of the game, then the Indians tied it in the 8th to go into extra innings. After a tense 10th, the Cubs pulled it out with those 8 runs, that magical number again, 108. Again, a 108-year drought ends this morning. Now the curse of the Billy Goat is over. People are still celebrating in the wee hours of the morning. The celebrations will continue, and plans for a parade are now in the works. In Chicago, I'm Lauren Petty. Now back to you.
Other news in Peoria, crime news, and Peoria police tell us overnight one person was injured after a shooting in Peoria. Authorities say it happened around 3:30 this morning in the 1000 block of West McClure. Authorities confirm one person was shot in the chest. Their condition is unknown. There is also no word of any suspects at this time.
In our Decision 2016 coverage, next week's election, the Metamora Grade School District is asking residents to increase the education fund 31 cents, and that's leaving some people with mixed feelings. If the referendum passes, the overall tax rate would increase to $3.02. Funds would go toward paying school bills and for new books for students.
I think it's a little bit, bad timing. Everybody's hurting a little bit right now. The state of Illinois is uncertain on their involvement with our education dollars.
The expense really now is pretty minor in the grand scheme of things in terms of making sure that they get the supplies and the tools that they need.
If the referendum is successful, it will provide an additional $500,000 to help pay for utility bills for the schools as well. If it does not pass, the district will put it on the spring ballot or issue bonds. Also on next Tuesday's ballot, the Safe Roads Amendment, also known as the Lockbox Amendment. If passed, it would prevent the state from spending any money collected for road improvements on anything but road improvements. Previously, lawmakers have been able to dip into transportation funds to fill in other gaps in funding.
Keep in mind that education funding, healthcare funding, all those sorts of things are funded through the sales tax and the income tax. Those are general funds. The difference that we're trying to make to voters is that the dedicated funds that are supposed to go to transportation is what we're trying to protect and really make government keep its promises.
The Illinois Chamber of Commerce supports the amendment, calling Illinois a crossroads of America where the economy depends on reliable transportation. Opponents say it will take a lot of flexibility away from lawmakers when it comes to funding the state.
It's about 6:40, 20 minutes to the top of the hour. Coming up, a former McLean County Board Chairman pleads guilty to wire fraud.
And we have an update on that attack of 2 Iowa police officers.
Also, Nick will take you to the maps for a look at today's forecast as we take a live look out on our road watch camera.
A little
Downtown
foggy out there.
Peoria, the streets of Silver, Gina's limo out there this morning.
Yep, there it goes.
We'll be back. Wait.
You're watching 25 News Today with Garry Moore, Gina Morss, and meteorologist Nick Jansen. 25 News is your home team.
Well, good morning and welcome back. So temperatures today on the warm side early on this morning again, with temperatures sitting in the middle and upper 50s. Let's take a look outside right now on our Skywatch camera network. Looking downtown Peoria right now, so foggy conditions early on this morning, and I am representing the Cubs. I said yesterday I would wear it. Garry's flying the W behind me today. Of course, Chicago Cubs finally winning the World Series. It took only, how many years did it take, Garry? Only 108 years, but finally got it done last night against the Cleveland Indians in Game 7. So temperatures today on the warm side early on this morning. So normally we start things off this time of year in the 40s, still in the 50s, right around 57 degrees. Lincoln up to around 62 degrees this morning. We're dealing with those foggy conditions, though, some patchy fog across the area. So 3 miles for visibility right now in Peoria. Taking a look at Bloomington Normal, just 1 mile for visibility. So make sure to travel safely early on this morning. Satellite radar shows that dense fog that we're seeing right now. And some cloudy skies as well. Now, the good news is that we'll eventually get out of the area later on this morning. The better news, though, is we're not going to be looking at the very heavy rainfall that we saw yesterday. So taking a look right now at the rainfall from the last 24 hours. Now, this is radar estimated accumulations right here where the arrow's pointing, right along I-74 in between Peoria and Elmwood. Accumulations estimated around 4.5 inches of rain. Now, the Peoria Airport, they calculated right around 2 inches of rain, just above that. So that's the official report for the Peoria area. But many of us got quite a bit of rainfall yesterday. And not only did we see heavy rain, but we saw strong winds and large hail as well. So let's take a couple looks at some viewer photos here. This is from Jenny. You can see that shelf cloud starting to move across the Illinois River there. And then taking a look at some of that hail. So this is from Ashley driving. You can almost see like snowfall across the roads there. So very dangerous conditions yesterday. And then the hail again. We've seen anywhere from $50 to even dollar-sized hail yesterday. So very strong thunderstorms yesterday, and nothing like that in the forecast for today. So that's the good news. Sunny skies ahead as we head into the afternoon today, and then clear skies throughout the overnight hours tonight. Now tomorrow, more of the same. We'll continue to see those sunny skies at least throughout much of your day tomorrow, and continuing into the weekend. So that's the good news. Temperatures, though, just a little bit cooler today. We're overall going to feel very nice, though, with temperatures staying in the 60s, the middle to upper 60s, and then tonight finally falling down into those 40s. So we'll be around average for those overnight lows. Today, then, 64 degrees for that high tonight, dropping down to around 44 degrees for that overnight low, and then tomorrow, 65 degrees. So more nice conditions, at least for many of us. And then taking a look at the next 7 days, 67 degrees for both days this weekend. And of course, remember to turn your clocks back 1 hour this weekend. So getting a little bit more sleep, hopefully, for Gary and I this weekend.
All right, Nick, thanks very much. A suspect is in custody this morning after 2 Iowa police officers were shot and killed in an ambush early Wednesday morning. Police say 46-year-old Scott Michael Green was found on a rural gravel road after flagging someone down asking for 911 Wednesday. The arrest came hours after Green allegedly shot and killed Des Moines Police Sergeant Anthony Benminio and Urbandale Police Officer Justin Martin. The 2 officers were shot as they sat in their individual patrol cars a few miles apart.
These were our friends. They are our coworkers. But we've discussed at length at times, the family of law enforcement. And like Sergeant Underwood just said, we're a very tight-knit community. Des Moines is not a big city. We all know each other. So, we're heartbroken. I don't know how else to put it. There's just really no words at times like this.
Wednesday, the Urbandale community showed its support for the officers by covering a police cruiser in balloons and flowers.
It is about 6:49. Coming up, an update on the United Way's Heart of Illinois campaign.
And we'll have more, of course, on the Cubs.
Welcome back to 25 News Today. If you're just waking up, it's about 8 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:52 now on a Thursday. The former McLean County Board Chairman has pleaded guilty to wire fraud in federal court. Matt Sorensen was indicted last year. Prosecutors claimed he was paid more than $400,000 for consulting work he never performed for State Farm. The Panagraph says Sorensen will be sentenced in March. He faces up to 20 years in prison.
Officials with the United Way's Heart of Illinois campaign say that more than half of what was raised last year has already been raised this year. There's still a few months left in the campaign, which kicked off in September. But a co-chair says they've raised more than $8.5 million already. It's much needed. The organization is the largest non-governmental funder of health and human care agencies services throughout central Illinois. All the money raised stays here at home, and final results of this year's campaign will be announced at the end of January. Time to see what's trending this morning on social media. Everybody's talking about the Cubs, the World Series champion Cubs.
World Series champion. Man, how does
that
that
sound
sound?
good?
That sounds great. I think they should have Bartman and a stuffed goat on the float for the parade.
Give Bartman
You
a
think?
break, then finally
Yeah.
he can.
All right. For the first time in 108 years, the so-called lovable losers are now lovable winners, champions of the baseball world.
Of course, many of us have heard the TV call of the winner, but here's the hometown call from Cubs announcer Pat Hughes.
The Cubs are 1 out away from winning the title. And Cub fans, you are going to remember where you were right now for the rest of your life. It'll be Mike Montgomery to try to get the final out. 2 down. Cubs lead by a run. Tying run at first. Martinez at the plate. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it and throw to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. The Cubs come pouring out of the dugout, jumping up and down like a bunch of delirious 10-year-olds. The Cubs have done it. The longest drought in the history of American sports is over, and the celebration begins. It's never felt better to fly the W. Great scene on the field, bear hugs, absolute joy. The Cubs have done it. Their first world title since 1908.
Look at that, Gary.
And Eureka native Ben Zobrist was named MVP of the World Series. How about that? Zobrist hit the go-ahead RBI in the 10th inning, which helped him earn the trophy. He had more hits than anybody on either team in the World Series.
And that's why he's the MVP.
And Zobrist says the rain delay before the game went into the 10th inning was a big key.
The rain delay, I think, was really important for our team because, we got everybody, all the players, down into the weight room. Jay Hay called the meeting. He said, hey, let's come in here. I got something to say. And he said, you know what, whatever's happened up to this point in the game, we got to forget about it. It's over. We're still the best team. We're going to pull this thing out. We need to pull together and chip away. We're going to win this game. And everybody just kind of rallied together like we've always done all year long.
Indeed, they did. No word on when the championship parade will be, but of course, we'll pass that information on to you. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome back. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast. 64 degrees for the high today, 65 tomorrow.
So there we are, Wrigley Field. People are starting to gather this morning. Some people left over from overnight.
They haven't gone home.
They have not gone home. Congratulations. Holy cow. The Cubs win the World Series, first championship since 1908.
Can you imagine what that call would have been like?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you for joining us today. And, of course, we'll have a local news update for you at 7:25. You're going to put the hat on, Gina? There you go.
This is pretty sweet.
Look at that.
Even this Cardinals fan can appreciate great baseball and local guys in the big games. Zach McAllister and MVP Ben Zobrist.
Yeah. And we got some champagne down there, but we're not allowed to. It's non-alcoholic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.